All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to your Pilates class. Optional to have ankle weights if you want to level up for some of the booty and hamstring work. I do have a set of light hand weights for some upper body portions, 3 pounds, nothing really heavy. So 1, 3s, 5s. I wouldn't go a lot heavier than that. Go ahead and meet me in a tabletop position. Let's just jump right in. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and just start with some cat-cowing of the spine to decompress. So as you round the spine, draw the belly button up and in, chin and tailbone tucking in, and then flip that belly button pushing down, chin and tailbone pulling away from the body. Flow at a pace where you can really feel the vertebra segmentally moving away from each other and then towards each other. So not really rushing it, but really taking a moment to land and feel this throughout the entire body. All right, we're gonna add just a little bit of movement here. So as you round the spine, sit the hips back. So you're coming into like a rounded child's pose. And then as you start to come into your cow, hinge forward, let the shoulders even come a little bit closer towards the fingertips so you feel that through the forearms and the wrists, and then flow that back and forth. So priming the upper body as well. And then slowly release. Go ahead and flip the wrists. The fingertips can either be facing the long edge of your mat or back towards the knees. And then just hinge your weight a little bit forward and back so you really feel that release through the wrists, through the fingers, through the forearms. Doesn't have to be a huge sway, just enough to start to feel something through the front of the arms. Two more here, and release. We're gonna flip it over, come all the way onto your back with your knees bent, feet flat onto the floor, and we're gonna do that same cat-cowing motion, but just through the pelvis. So sometimes it can be nice to just place the hands closer towards the hips in the pelvic region, and then you're gonna tilt the pelvis down so you feel your low back arch a little bit, and then tilt your pelvis up so you feel your low back broaden or flatten onto the floor. So just really cat-cowing the pelvis and the low back here. Can feel pretty nice, especially if you have hip or low back pain. But also just bringing some awareness to this deep core and the pelvic floor, which is really a big part of our Pilates and sculpt practice. So keep your hips really heavy and grounded on the floor. So this isn't turning into a bridge. We're just really tilting the pelvis. Let's just do a couple more here. And then we are going to turn this into some bridges to just jump right into our Sculpt Pilates workout. So the next time you have your pelvis tilted up so you feel your low back really broad and flat onto the floor, make sure your feet are about hip distance apart. Keep that pelvic rotation and then slowly lift up into your bridge. From here, we're just going to come about halfway down. So find your biggest expression of bridge where you feel really strong and really powerful. And from there, just lower a couple inches, lift back up to your fullest expression. So down a couple inches, up a couple inches. Now keep in mind too, Pilates bridges are very different than yoga bridges, so we don't want to come off of the shoulders like we're getting ready to set up for a wheel or into a really extended bridge. So keep your scapular region, the shoulder blades, grounded onto the floor and really focus just on the glutes and the hamstrings doing all of the work here. And try to keep that pelvis nice and neutral. So if you were to come all the way down, your low back would still be nice and broad onto the floor. So we're really strong here. Now the next time you lift up, hold. step your right foot forward just a couple inches so you can ground the heel and lift the arch and the ball and the toes of the foot, and then do the same with the left. So just about an inch further away from the body, and then lift up a couple more inches. So as the legs go out, we might find that we can lift the hips a little bit more. And then the same thing, come down a couple inches, lift a couple inches. As you do this, try not to let the knees bow out or cave in, so they're staying nice and centered right on top of the ankles. And the more we extend the feet away from the body, the more we're going to target the hamstring. So in that first variation, we might have really felt the glute max, the bullseye of the tush kicking in. Hopefully now we're feeling a little bit more hamstrings, back of the upper thighs. 3, 2, hold at the top, same thing. Extend your left foot just an inch, right foot just an inch, dig through the heels, toes up, and then again, halfway down and up, just a couple inches down and up. Whoo, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling this. 3, 2, all right, hold at the top, last time, just another inch. Creepy crawl your way out, lift back up, and then down a couple inches, up a couple inches. Hopefully now really feeling the thick part of the hamstring, so right in the middle of the back of the upper thighs. Now if you're starting to feel this across the low back, make sure you have that pelvis slightly tilted, so we've got that support through the lumbar spine. All right, let's go 3, 2, and release. You can walk the feet back in, gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. Awesome job. So hopefully we're warm, we're primed, we are ready to go. So if you have them, go ahead and grab your light hand weights and come up to a seated posture. So you're gonna set the weights down just right outside the middle of your thighs so they're there for you when you need them. Knees are softly bent, heels are digging, toes are slightly lifted. Reach your arms forward like zombie arms. Left arm only, we're gonna rotate open to the left like a bow and arrow. Left elbow draws back to tap the floor, and then pull your arrow back forward. So just the left side. 9, stay on the left. 8, keep that core nice and strong, belly button drawing in towards the spine. 5, 4, soften shoulder heads down away from the ears. 3, 2, last one. Grab just your left hand weight, right arm just still reaches forward. Just lower and lift your left arm. 10. Now the upper body is in that lean back position. So the chest is behind the belly button, navel drawing into the spine. So you're kind of C-shaping the front of the abdomen. Really strong here. 4, 3, 2, 1. So lower the hand, keep the weight, lean back a little bit more, and this time as you come up, take the arm all the way overhead. 10, 9, soften that left shoulder head. 8, strong through the core, you got this. 7, 6, 5, 4, last 3, 2, set your left weight down, both arms reach forward like those zombie arms, right arm bow and arrow, twist and tap the elbow to the floor. 10, 9, keep digging the heels into the floor, toes up. 1 more. Hold the upper body, grab the weight, right arm. 10, lower and lift. Shoulder height. 9, tap the floor, shoulder height. 8. You could also do this with no weight. 2, 1 more. Hold the weight down, lean back just a couple more inches. As you sit up, the arm sweeps up, bicep next to ear. Lower and tap the floor. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, almost there. 4, stay with it really strong. 3, getting shoulder mobility and core strength. 2, 1, and release. Nice job. Now I'm gonna flip over, I'm gonna sit on my heels. If sitting on the heels does not feel good for your ankles or your knees, please feel free to have a seat in a chair or even come up to stand. We're gonna do just a little bit of sculpting through the arms. So light hand weights, and again, if you don't have hand weights, you can do this totally body weight. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and then leave them in place. Side raise, 10. So sit up nice and tall. Even if you're standing, everything is stacked. Shoulders on top of hips, core is braced. 2 more. We're gonna hold it out for a 10 count. Hold 10. 8, 6, 4, don't drop, 2. You're gonna bend at the elbows, tap the weights in towards right underneath your clavicle, your collarbone, and then extend it out. Keep your elbows really high. 9. Soften shoulder heads. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. This time hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now listen closely, only lower halfway. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2. Now listen, hold the left arm, just the right arm, down and up from that halfway point. 10, 9, woo, 8, 7, ooh, shoulders on fire. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the right arm. We got this. Left side. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Roll the shoulders. Nice job. Set your weights out to the side. Now, option to add ankle weights if you want for this next portion. We're going to move into a little bit of glute med and min. So think the side of the hip as well as glute max. So think the bullseye of your tush. So ankle weights are totally optional. You can also use them for some things. And then if you'd like to ditch them, if it gets too hard, that is always there for you. All right, go ahead and come onto one side. I'm going to start on my laying down on my left side. So if you want to stay with me, that can be good. If not, if you're on your right side already and you're like, I'm not moving, that's fine too. Just do everything the opposite of what I say. So bend your left leg, keep your right leg really straight. Now I want you to palpate, so physically feel around the front of your right hip until you feel like this bony protrusion, your ASIS. That right there is your starting point. So imagine that is where your floor is. So right in the inner thigh, that is as far down as we're going to go in this series. Take your right hand in front of your chest, so that way we're not rocking forward and back. Dorsiflex the right foot, so think toes to shin, and you're pushing through the heel. Lift all the way up that you can without rotating the hip, and come back to where your floor is at your ASIS. All right, let's go. 10, 9, 2 more, 1 more. Now we're gonna move a little bit slower and we're gonna play around with dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. So point the foot, plantar flexion, flex the foot, dorsiflexion. So we're gonna point and flex as we lift the leg without rotating the hip. So keep your frontal hip bone square, and then point and flex as you come back to your imaginary floor or base. And then keep going up and down. So this is really good for ankle mobility, but hopefully we're also starting to feel that glute min and med fire up the side of the hip. Let's go 1 more, all the way up and all the way down. Whew, I know the side of my hip is starting to feel it. All right, come back to your floor, your imaginary floor. Bend your knee. Now, once the knee is bent, tilt your knee down and lift the foot. So my ankle is physically higher than my knee. You're gonna bring your knee down in front of your other knee, tap the floor, and then you're gonna kick at the diagonal back behind you with a dorsiflexed foot. So knee comes down, lift and extend. 10, 9, 8, 7. Woo. Get that leg up. I know the side of the hip is starting to feel it. Stay with it. 3, 2. We have just one more move. Stay with me. We're going to extend, lower, and lift. So we're adding that on. 10. Extend, lower, and lift. 9, 8, 7. Ooh, ankle weights really make a difference here. 6, 5, 4, whoo, 3, 2, one more. And release. Nice job. Now stay on whatever leg you were just working as you come into tabletop. So my right leg was my leg that was physically moving. So that's the leg I'm going to do right now. So if you were laying on your right side, moving your left, flip-flop that. You can stay on the hands. You can come onto the elbows. I like to do this on the elbows because it just takes some pressure off the wrist. But listen to your body, adjust accordingly. The leg you were just working, flex the foot, 90-degree bend in the knee, lower and lift, donkey kicks. 10. So we're moving from glute med and min, the side of the hip, back around to the back of the bullseye. 3, 2, hold it up. That same thing we did with the bridge, that half range rep, we're going to do it here. So drop a couple inches, lift back up and squeeze. Drop a couple inches, lift up and squeeze. 8, 6, 4, 2, hold it up, little tiny pulse. 10. It's like down an inch, up an inch. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Now we're doing hamstring curls, but small ones. So imagine kicking your heel towards your butt and then bringing it back where that ankle is over the knee at that 90-degree bend. Keep your butt 90 degree. 8, 7, 6. Keep your thigh up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Keep the squeeze. Again, 10 little pulses. 10. And release it down. Nice job. Sit back onto the heels. Take a child's pose, whatever feels really nice in this moment. And then we're going to do that whole thing on the other side. So come to lay down on your right hip. Bend your right knee. And straighten your left leg. Now again, that same thing. Palpate for that. Sorry, my wire's getting in the way. Palpate for that frontal hip bone. That is your floor. So we're not going to want to come any lower than that. Dorsiflex through the foot. Lift and lower. 10. All right, same thing as the last side. We point and flex as we lift. So you've got that ankle mobility happening as we're training the glute med and min. It's always nice to get a couple beneficial things in for the body at once. This is so good too to the health and longevity of the hips. We got to train more than just the glute max. I know everybody likes the big booties nowadays, but the side of your hips and the front of the hips are also so important. So it's so good to train all of it so the hip and the hip joint remain really healthy tissues. All right, hold. We're going to bend the knee. Lift your foot so it's higher than the knee, and this is where we come in at that angle. So tap the knee and then kick and extend it back at that diagonal. 10. Now, if you're also noticing that this side hurts a little sooner than the other side, that's because it was actually stabilizing us as we were moving. So it's been working the entire time. So if you come back to this class, doing it on a recording, start on your left so that way we're evening it out every time. 2 more. Right into that addition. So extend it out, lower and lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, oh my goodness, 3, 2, one more. And, did we do a little pulse at the end? I don't think so. If we did, I'm sorry, we forgot on this side. Release, go and roll into tabletop. This is what happens when I don't bring my notes with me. All right, again, same leg we were just doing. Flex the foot, keep that 90-degree bend all the way up and down, 10. Core is brace, 9. Now hold it all the way up. We're just gonna come about halfway down. So think a couple of inches down, up and squeeze. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We go into those little pulses. 2, hold it at the top, little pulse, 10. 3, 2, 1. Now those baby hamstring curls. Kick your tush, come back to your 90-degree. Kick, bend. 8. Keep your thigh up if you can. Last 2. Last 1. Hold the squeeze in, little pulse, 10. And release it down. Nice job. Again, sit back towards the heels or sit into a child's pose. Whatever feels really helpful and beneficial. Okay, we're going to come into the front of the legs now and get a little bit of hip flexor as well. You have the option to leave your ankle weights on. I'm going to personally take mine off because some of these leg circles can be a little intense and you might not want the extra weight in the hip flexor. So maybe try it, see if you like it with ankle weights, and then you're like, nope, you take them off. That's there for you too. All right, flip it over, come onto your back. All right, let's start with the left leg this time. So keep your right knee bent, extend your left leg nice and long. We're gonna play around again with that plantar dorsiflexion. So start with the toe pointed. We're gonna lift the leg so it comes up over the hip, flex the foot, and lower it down with control. So just a single leg lift and lower. Now, if you notice your hip is actually popping a whole lot, it's oftentimes in the hip when it's popping, it's that tendon kind of going back and forth over the bone. And we don't really want to irritate our tendons a whole bunch. So if you're noticing that, you might shorten your range of motion or adjust the hip in any way so that tendon stops snapping over the bone. Keep the core braced, keep your low back nice and broad onto the floor. So even though we're not focusing solely on the core right now, it is still very active and involved in its stabilization. 2 more. 1 more. We're gonna hold the leg up with its flexed position. Lower your left knee until it lines up with your right knee. Hold. And now just imagine how long the shin bone is on the right leg. And we're gonna lower and lift with a flexed foot, just the length of the shin bone. So now we're training iliopsoas, this hip flexor region. Think about the crease when you fold, right where your hip is there. That's the area. Hopefully we're feeling it there. And quadricep, the front of the upper thigh as well. Two more. Hold knee in line with knee. Now listen closely. We're going to come all the way up to sit. Try not to put your left foot down. So slide your right leg out long. Press through the right heel. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Tuck your chin to your chest. Roll it up. Keep your left leg lifted. And then little pulse. 10, 8, 6. Keep flexing the foot. 4, 3. Strong hip flexors. 2. And release, fold forward, or take your hands back behind you, point the toes, and rock the hips. Whatever feels more nourishing to the front of the hips. Strong and healthy hips. Stretching them feels amazing, but strengthening the hips helps the longevity of the joint. All right, come all the way down. Let's do the other side. Bend your left knee. Start with your right leg nice and long and the toe pointed. Focus on drawing your navel into your spine so you feel that pelvic floor engage. And point up, flex to lower with control. All right, lift the leg all the way up with that flexed foot. Lower so your right knee is in line with the left knee. Keep flexing the foot. Now again, just imagine how long the shin bone is on the left side and just lower and lift your right leg that amount. Keep that core engaged. All right, line up the knees and hold. Slowly extend your left leg long. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Try not to put your right leg down as you fold up and then pulse 10. Whoo. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Again, either fold or if it feels better, lean back and rock the legs. Nice job. All right, before we come into some yummy stretches for the hips and the low back, we're gonna do a little bit of strengthening for the inner thighs. So for that, we're actually gonna come up to stand. So however you'd like to get there. And we're gonna take the feet out really wide. So think several inches wider than your hips. So here's my frontal hip bones. You can see how much more space I have between that and my feet. Turn your toes out so they're somewhere, imagine if you're standing on a clock, they're somewhere between the hours 10 and 2 and 9 and 3, but not so far open you feel like you're gonna lose your balance. From there, your hands can come anywhere, but I would like you to not push them onto the thighs, so if it's better for hips or prayer position at the chest or wherever makes more sense. All right, go ahead and lower down into your plie. Notice how that feels for the hips and the inner thighs. Keep your heels really heavy here, and then let's just lift and lower. 10. So as you start to lower, think driving your knees out and back. So if there's like a wall, an imaginary wall behind you, you're trying to tap the outside of the knees on that wall. Keep that core braced, and there's a slight tucking of your tailbone underneath of you. The next time you lower into your plie, hold. Now imagine like old school thigh master, in and out squeeze. So really targeting the inner thighs here. Those hip adductors. Now the next time you hold in and squeeze, hold, and then a little pulse downwards, about 2 inches down and up. Keep that inner thigh squeeze from that imaginary thigh master. Hold, hold, hold at the bottom. Isometric, time under tension. Keep the depth of your plie, but release that squeeze. Stay in it. Let's pulse for 10. Almost there. 2. Hold it down. I know, my legs are shaking. 10. 5. Don't change anything. Lift your right heel. 5. 3. Don't change anything, but lower the right heel. Lift your left heel. Hold 5. Whoo. 3, 2. Lower the heels. Hold 5. Final thing. This is it. Pulse 10. 4, 3, 2, and release. Oh my goodness. Awesome job on your hip focus Pilates class.